Welcome back to Staffing the Mission. Literally, if you found us, you found the only podcast dedicated to public safety recruiting. My name is Travis Yates. I'm with Safeguard Recruiting. And today we have a special guest with us. His name is Kriss, and Carl is our videographer. And he has done incredible work for us and our clients. And I just thought it'd be very interesting to bring Carl on the show to discuss with you his background, the processes he uses, and where he's helped some agencies. And I can tell you the work is phenomenal. When we bring Carl into an agency and they see his work, there's never any changes. They're like, we love it. And we just had that experience in Milwaukee with Carl. And I thought, man, it'd be a great time to have him come on and discuss video. And as you know, we've talked a lot about videos on the show in the past because departments could use videos wrong. Videos are not a great asset for front of the funnel. What does that mean? To get people interested, video isn't always the greatest thing to do. We've seen this time and time again. We've had multiple clients spend way too much money on a video thinking that's going to solve things. They spend way too much money on a website thinking it's going to solve things. And they end up calling us saying, we need help. It got worse. I can tell you multiple examples of clients that have done that. I'm not going to embarrass them, although I will tell you Philadelphia is one of them because they themselves have said that. John Walker, right here on the show, the captain of recruiting, said he spent $3 million on marketing, which included all that and more. And their recruiting actually got worse. So our philosophy here at Safeguard Recruiting is to go out and seek front of the funnel people, go where they are, which is their phone, get them to express interest, nurture them, communicate with them, and use video in addition to emails and text to do that. And we see that as a great asset for videos. And that's what we have Kriss for. And Carl, before we get started, thanks for being on the show. I didn't even give a bio because your bio is so crazy. I mean, I think you've had documentaries on HBO and everything else. Just kind of tell the audience your background, kind of what you've done and how you got involved in video work.
Yeah, definitely. Travis, thanks so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be able to talk today with you, and I've loved working with Safeguard. My background is actually in documentary. I worked in LA as a documentary editor, and then actually moved to Northeast Ohio to do a documentary about the closure of an auto plant in Lordstown, Ohio, and through that experience, ended up learning a lot about blue collar workers and this sort of like transitional period that we're in, where a lot of people who are in the blue collar industries who are older are retiring, and a new generation is needed to replace a lot of blue collar jobs. So I finished making that documentary. It aired on PBS, worked at an NBC affiliate in Cleveland, and then started making these kind of documentary style recruitment videos. And it's been awesome to work with you and Safeguard and work on telling the story of try to connect with people from the younger generation as well as the older generation to recruit police officers.
Yeah, and we actually found you, Carl. We were working with the Cleveland Police Department, and they wanted a video, and we were looking for a videographer to do a lot of our work. And just seeking out in the Cleveland area, we found you. And of course, I saw your bio, and I thought, man, I think this may be something special. And of course, you came on board. You helped us with Cleveland. You've helped us with other clients, most recently Milwaukee, and it's been phenomenal. It's I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but I will tell you from a business perspective, it's hard to find very good people that do this type of work. And if you do find them, the money is so expensive. So you've just been a great asset for us and our clients. I can't thank you enough. And I want to talk to you about your process, because you have a very specific process when we onboard an agency. Kind of walk us through the steps you take to make sure, because just showing up and filming, that's just one aspect of it. There's a tremendous amount of work that goes in before that. So if someone is listening to this and they are thinking about doing a video, it's much more complicated than just, oh, we just need a video. There's a lot of work that goes into it to make sure that that video does the right thing, which is to send a message to entice people to express interest in that agency. So kind of talk to us about your process.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so we use a documentary approach, and what I mean by that is we really listen to people first before we even come up with an idea for the message, for the video, or the story. So it really starts from first talking to the police department and getting a general sense of the vision that they have and that we can collaborate on. And from there, we then have one-on-one meetings with the police officers who are going to be featured in the video. So, just to back up from that, before that, we have a selection process. So first, we meet with the department. We get a understanding of the vision for the video, and then we talk about what type of police officer we want to attract or recruit, and then from there we work with the department to select which police officers have the best story to attract the police officers that we would like to recruit for the specific department. And then from there, we have one-on-one meetings with the police officers. So instead of, there's a lot of different approaches to making video, but instead of coming up with a preconceived idea of what the story is, we talk to the department first. We talk to the police officers who will be in the video, and we learn about their story. And we craft the video around their story. So we don't project what our vision is for their story or for their department. We learn about who they are, what makes their department unique, and then we craft the video around that story and that message. And that, in general, leads to videos that are more authentic and unscripted. Everything we do is unscripted. So after we learn about the police officers, that are featured in the video, after we learn about their story, we then come up with questions to ask them. So a lot of what we do is relationship building before we even start filming. Just getting to know the officers who are going to be in the video, getting to know the department, so that once we do start filming, it's seamless. That's like the easy part. The filming is the easy part. The selection process, all the pre-planning we do, that typically takes the longest. And then when we're there to film, it's, everything kind of works by itself.
Yeah, on the editing process, I'm sure that's pretty laborious. What is it I've heard that for every minute a video, it's about 40 hours of editing? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think it depends on like the production, if it's a narrative film, like that, probably less so, but if it's a documentary, yeah, that's definitely the case. And so, yeah, the editing, a lot of editing. Yeah, a lot of organizing.
Well, that's really where the magic happens, right? You could have great footage, but if the editing is not right, and the skill set you have, normally you find a great videographer, but you have to get a different editor, or even you have to get a different script writer, and you kind of are a one-man show. You're very talented in all this, and I know from Safeguard Recruiting standpoint, we're extremely blessed to have you. And I know people are listening to this and they're saying, well, this is outside of our budget. This has got to be expensive. That's one of the reasons we started promoting video. Yes, we're very honest with our clients. A video by itself won't help you much with recruiting, but it's a tool in the toolbox when it comes to your overall recruiting approach, because we try to actually solve the issue. Marketing companies in general, and we're not a marketing company, we're a recruiting agency. That's the big difference. A marketing company is just trying to show off your agency in the best light possible to anybody and everybody. Well, recruiting is different. You're trying to reach a passive audience of the right age and the right demographics, or the right police officer and the right culture that you're wanting to bring in your department, and get them interested enough to express interest. And then that's where recruiting actually starts. And the video does a great job. And I would almost say it's even more challenging today, Carl, than ever to get interest off of video, because video's everywhere. I try to tell these agencies to think a video is going to solve their problems. Like, listen, these kids that are watching your video aren't impressed, quite frankly. They're on TikTok, they're watching videos all day, they're doing their own videos, they're inundated with video. So what I love about your approach is you're right. It does come across as very authentic. It helps tremendously, I would say, mid-funnel. That's where we utilize your videos. We'll put Carl's videos on the website. I'll give you one quick example. Go to joinmilwaukeepd.com. Right there on that front page, you'll see Carl's videos there on that front page. And we'll put some links to his other videos in the description here. And when you watch that, immediately the authenticity there. You know immediately how that helps mid-funnel. It's not going to help much top funnel, because actually when we run a campaign, a recruiting campaign, we'll run video, because some departments are just, they've spent a lot of money on video, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and they're just so proud of the video. Philadelphia was an example. And they said, will you use our video for top of the funnel? And so, yeah, we'll use it, but we're going to actually also use other elements that we happen to know that works. And when they got the data back, the video was by far the least productive top of funnel. Now, mid funnel, when people are trying to convince people to apply and continue the process, that video is extremely helpful. So we love it as a tool mid funnel. And let's talk about cost, Carl, because one of the reasons we started promoting our video work, and which is of course you working for us, was because we were running across clients like Philadelphia and some others I'm not going to name because I'm sure they don't want us to, that we're spending in the 6 figures for a recruiting video. And that was very irritating because these marketing companies make a lot of money off this. They make a lot of false promises off this. They don't explain to the agencies sort of what to expect. They make the agencies think that this video is going to do everything. And so they're willing to spend 6 figures, 100,000 plus, in some cases, over $200,000 for recruiting videos. Now, Carl, I'm sure you would love to get that kind of money for a video, but that's not what it costs. Now, Carl, we won't talk specific dollars here, but we don't make any money really whatsoever off these videos. Like, we're going to make sure Carl is taken care of for his time. There's a lot of time that goes into it, but because you are working, you know, almost solo, you do a lot of the work yourself. You don't have a huge team of people. You don't have a big office complex you're releasing out. You don't have you're able to bring a high, really the best videos we've seen out there at a value that any agency in America can afford. And I want to encourage them to do that. And you're going to go, well, how much is that, Travis? And I'll just tell you, it's probably cheaper than your hiring bonus. It's just not that much money, right? And in fact, off the things we offer, our video work is one of the cheapest we offer. And you could call us up today and go, all I want's a video and a website or video and photos. A video is going to be much cheaper than an all-out recruiting campaign because finding people is a much more expensive proposition because you get actual people you can hire. But it's just not that much, is it? And it really shouldn't be.
Yeah, 100%, Travis. Yeah, I think the video marketing has changed a lot. Just like the last couple of years, like people used to pay a ton of money just for one video, and that one video could be great, but that's not the world that we live in anymore. You need a lot of videos, and you need a lot of videos at a much lower cost because of social media. Like there's just so many opportunities to get the video out there and so many different stories that you could tell. So because we use a documentary approach, we capture a ton of footage and in a short period of time, and then we're able to generate a lot of content at a really much lower cost than most of the videos out there, but still with really high production value because we use that doc approach. We still use cinema cameras. We're able to make the quality very high. But the unscripted approach actually makes it so that the videos are more affordable because we're able to capture so much content. And then, like you were saying before, with editing, we know how to put the footage together. We know how to tell the story. So we're able to do all of that, very efficiently. So you get not just one video most of the time, but you get 7, 8, even more videos at just a fraction of the cost of what you would normally pay for one.
Yeah, almost every client we talk to or every contract we see or RFP is they want that 2 or 3 minute recruiting video. And we say, hey, that's great. That's going to be great probably for a website or whatever. But most people, most kids, I would say, they're not watching 2 or 3 minute videos. They're watching clips of videos, right? They're 15 seconds, 30 seconds. If you can keep them on there for 30 seconds, you're doing something. So when you hire Safeguard Recruiting, we make sure that they're getting not just their 2 or 3 minute video, which I'll tell you what that is. That's a vanity video for the department. That's just what it is. Very few people are watching a 3 minute video going, I think I want to work there. Now, they may watch that mid funnel when they've already applied and go, I want to know more about the department. But very few people will pay attention to that online. But if they're landed on your website and they're really poking around quite a bit, they're really interested, they may watch it. That's where we like to land that video right at the top on their main website. But the videos that really get the traction are those 15-second, 30-second videos. And you provide a ton of those for the clients and kind of explain I think you explain your why, but that's why, right? Because that's really where the impact is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think like the more you can put out there, the more short hits, that people can find your video, and those shorter videos get traction. It pulls them in. So then they might watch the longer video, or they'll just watch the shorter video and go to the website.
Mm.
So yeah, definitely the shorter videos do a lot just to get interest from a bigger pool of people, and just kind of bring them into the website, or bring them in to watch more videos.
You spoke earlier, Carl, about working with the department, coming up with the story without having a pre-bias or pre-story. That's so important because you need a lot of participation from the agency to make a great video. And I think Milwaukee is a prime example. I don't think we've had a client yet that was so embedded and helped out in the level they did. And they brought a lot of those ideas to the table. And I was on some of those meetings, and they would throw out an idea, and you would say, "Oh, that's great. Let's think about going to the shoot house and filming some here. Or oh, you're doing a fitness day. Can we go here? Can we go?" And so you guys really had a lot of synergy working together. But that is vital, isn't it? That an agency, it's more than just, signing up for a video. That agency's got to dedicate a few people to spend a considerable amount of time with you to make that video great. I think you were meeting with them weekly, several weeks before this video shoot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, they're investing a lot of time, they're coordinating, talking to a lot of different departments. So in order for them to do that or want to do that, like they have to feel like they're part of the process, and I think that that's one of the coolest things about doing the video is like seeing that, relationship grow, with the department, see them get excited about the video because they realize that their vision is that they're a part of it, and that to me is like one of the coolest things, because once that starts to happen, it becomes like a snowball effect. And, then the people who are in the video are excited about it. And sometimes people ask us like, when's the documentary coming out, because they feel like we're making a documentary.
Right.
And we are, so it's cool to see people get more and more excited throughout the process.
Where do you see? I'm always curious about technology and whether it's AI or not. But where do you see the future of video? I mean, obviously, capabilities are growing and growing and growing, and people have employed all sorts of AI type technology with it. But where do you see video in 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I think two things. I think one, authenticity is just going to become more and more important. As there becomes more AI, I think that the videos that stand out are going to be the ones that are, it sounds ironic, but they're going to be the ones that are the most authentic, the most, feel human, because there'll be so much stuff that doesn't feel like that, especially for recruitment. And then second, like with AI, I definitely think it's also useful in some ways. I think that like we're constantly looking at ways for how we can use certain tools to make the process more efficient, so that we can make more videos, still use that authentic approach. But how do we make, how do we do these sort of doc style videos in a way that's more efficient, so we can make more videos, lower the cost, so more people want to make videos that feel authentic. So I think that authenticity will become even more important than it is today. And then I also think that AI tools will help make those, those authentic videos, will help make those videos more efficiently, quickly, and produce more.
Yeah, I tend to agree with the authenticity part. I actually think there's going to be a revolt on AI, and because I know from the space that we're in and the space I'm also in on the consulting side is people have been inundated because everybody can be a great writer all of a sudden. Everybody can put together a great post, and they all kind of looks the same. And I actually think in the next 5 years, the people that aren't relying so heavily on AI are going to stand out. And I think we're seeing that. In fact, we just had a client just yesterday ask us about, can they incorporate AI when they write emails to the people that want to be police officers? And we actually have that tool available. We use a software product called Safeguard Connect, where it's an applicant tracking system built specifically for law enforcement. We actually turned off the AI feature in there. Our clients don't even know the AI is there. We actually do have an AI feature, but we turned it off because when we write the emails, we write messages, and we help them do that, it needs to feel authentic because people can smell that out immediately. So I actually agree with you. I think AI is a tool, but it's not the tool. And I think authenticity is king.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I'm actually noticing that too. Just more people. I think at the end of this year, people were confused, like they weren't sure how useful AI would be, and so there was some hesitancy about whether or not people felt like they needed video. But I've noticed a shift recently. I would say like over the summer, more and more. I think people have tried the AI tools and been like, "Ah, this is not so good. This feels cheesy," and they really want more, authentic videos for sure. Yeah.
That's great stuff. And I would just encourage anybody that, has a question about video or maybe they're interested in important video in their recruiting program, just give us a call. We'll be very straight and honest with you about what this costs, what it will do for you. We think it's a great tool in your recruiting package. If I could just, if someone said, what do I need to do? I would immediately say, we're going to target hundreds of people a month to bringing it into your funnel. And then we're going to start sending them messages and text, and we're going to import video in the middle of that. And that's where video can be used and used well. And also on the website, that's also a great tool to place them on your website, have a placeholder for them, and just reach out to us at safeguardrecruiting.com. We can actually if you want, we can put you directly in touch with Carl, and he can answer even more specific questions, because we're not going to get into video specific questions, but so you know what to expect. And if price is a concern, I would just say, don't let it be a concern. We work with clients of all sizes, of all budgets, and we're going to do what we can to make sure you have every opportunity to be staffed fully. So Carl, Kriss, thank you so much for being on the show. I can't thank you enough for the work you do for us. You obviously make us look good. I'm hoping that is mutual. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate it.
And if you've been watching, if you've been listening, thanks for watching Staffing the Mission. Do us a favor, leave a quick review, share it with the recruiters around you or the leaders in your agency. We've done a ton of episodes, and we're not selling you anything, but we just felt it's important that we can educate agencies across the country, because this recruiting crisis isn't a crisis. You just have to make a few shifts in what you do, and you'd be amazed at what can happen. And if we can help you do that, please reach out. Thank you.